The Award of Excellence is presented to entries that have demonstrated extraordinary achievements and broad-reaching contributions to downtown Orlando. These honorees span multiple categories and are truly excellent. This year, the Downtown Orlando Partnership is proud to honor 2 such projects with the prestigious Award of Excellence. An Award of Excellence goes to SunTrust Plaza. SunTrust Plaza at Church Street Station is the first high-rise office building built in downtown Orlando in over a decade. The new 25-story, 600,000 square foot mixed-use SunTrust Plaza Tower is prominently located at the corner of South Street and Garland Avenue, the front door to downtown Orlando. The design of the building enhances the downtown skyline with a modern architectural approach. The location of the new SunTrust Plaza provides convenient access to performing arts, dining, and entertainment venues. It strengthens the connection across I-4 from the business district and entertainment venues such as Amway Center and Exploria Stadium, along with 4,000 square feet of retail space. This development will house a new southbound Sunrail station, allowing for more pedestrian-friendly and convenient access to Church Street. It is the only office building downtown with a Sunrail platform integrated directly with the lobby. SunTrust Plaza adds to our office inventory, allowing us to bring new, larger headquarter-type companies that need bigger spaces for offices, creating more jobs and boosting the local economy. Congratulations to the project team. Bellflower,
Please.
Austin Commercial.
So we've watched this building come out of the ground, but tell us the story about how this started and how it came to complete fruition.
Well, like anything, there's a lot more backstory than there is story. So what they're proposing is looking at a Hyatt Place building here, hotel, which was a pretty small 10-story building, and they had a lunch, coffee with me down at Starbucks. This was in beginning of 2014. So we're in, going to the end of 2020. So, and we occupied at the end of 19. So it's 5-6 year odyssey to get us to CO. This is a gateway corner in Orlando. It's a statement we had to make. That's why we brought the designers in that we brought in, because we figured that this corner, being a gateway corner, you have to have something as much art as architecture. So we looked and said, look, if you want to do a hotel, fine, we'll do a hotel, but let's put the hotel at the top of a mixed-use building that we want to do. And it's much like what we did in 2008 with 111, which has a Spire residence at the top. It wasn't a lot of pre-leasing. We had to negotiate. The whole idea was to bring this as a Grand Central Station type of design, which brought the railroad from on the other side of South Street, which they understood they had an issue with the train platform being on the south side with all the ants and the ant running across the street and dodging traffic and everything else, that they need to be in the core, which meant on this side of the street. So that was the idea, to incorporate this into phase 1 and phase 2 and look at that as your jumping off point for Sunrail. There's a lot of risk associated with this. You take a lot of gambles. You hope it all works. Sometimes you're more fortunate than others. This was a great opportunity for us. We're very happy with it. We love the design. We love our tenants. We're looking to leverage off of that into phase 2 and the retail and everything else. So it's although a long journey, it's a successful journey. So we like it.
Well, for us, it all started at the barbecue in the park. Scott and I were having a brief conversation, and the topic came up, and we immediately got very excited about the possibility of doing something downtown. We were looking for an opportunity to move our offices in the heart of downtown anyway, and the site and the prominence, the fact that urbanistically we could create a reference point, a gateway, as Scott mentioned earlier, was very appealing to us. There's some very unique aspects that I'd like to point out that are just very specific to the site. The site is a tight site. It's a prominent site. It's sort of sandwiched between I-4 and downtown. So we had to be careful about the physical configuration of the building. So that gives the tower a very different look from what was done 10, 15 years ago. It's obviously introduces a new language, and a fresh language. Also allowed us to use certain materials on the west side, like reflective high-performance glass, and a different language on the east side. And it aesthetically makes the tower a lot more slender than if we had taken the horizontal layering approach. The last unique piece, as the design was being developed, we came up with the idea of, well, what if we create a sky terrace for the hotel? So the hotel guests wouldn't really check in on the ground floor. The sky lobby for the hotel is on the 18th and 19th floors, with a wonderful view of east, south, and west, which also becomes a community space. It's not just a private space. So we're opening up the building to be part of the urban fabric.
When we started, we had the conversation in the park, barbecue. But one of the reasons I went to Mauricio that I wanted Hunt and Brady to be the architect was I had a relationship with him way back in the 80s when we were first doing the first buildings, buildings in Maitland, but the first buildings in Heathrow. And Clyde and Fred and Mauricio were the heads and prominent heads of that. And the difference is this is an architecture firm that deals not just in architecture, but in art. And so it's a big difference. And it's kind of like normal people like me that aren't that much into arts. They know what they like. They're not sure why they like it, but they when they see it, they know what they like it. And these are the guys that are the ones to be able to put a design like that together.
Lincoln has a history of developing in downtown Orlando. Why does Lincoln continue to invest in downtown Orlando? And from your perspective, what was important about relocating into a more urban setting?
It's all about holding value. If we can build a building, and it's competitive, it is. There's hunters and skinners, and so we're hunters. We're the guys that go out there and take the risk. And you're not competing over nickels and dimes. You're competing on location, because in an urban environment, that we are the hunters, and that we'll go take the risk and develop it up front. Take the 6 years to do it. Figure it all out, build it, but the skinners, the REITs, are there to buy it from you. So it's a life cycles type of thing that you need each other. If you can do that and you can figure out how to do that mousetrap quicker, easier, faster than the next guy and get it in place, then great. And we've done this cycle after cycle after cycle. We laugh every 10 years. Lincoln builds a building in downtown Orlando. We did it from 1988 to 98, 2008. We missed 18. We delivered 19. But that's the cycle of we understand.
And for you all, why downtown? You can office anywhere.
For us, for many things. First, we wanted to work with Scott. We're up for a challenge all the time. And most of all, we wanted to practice what we preach. So looking at our history, we were founded in Orlando in 1947. We're basically a Florida firm. Central Florida is our market, our playground, so to speak. We wanted to be in a fresh project that we designed, and in a space like we're now that we also designed. And this allows us to have a laboratory for our employees to sort of look at the city, be engaged in community functions, in committees, in making the city better, understand our city.
And to follow up on that, since we moved in, our staff has just had a renewed excitement, I think, about being in a downtown environment. A lot of the design partners that we work with are in walking distance. So for meetings and things like that, being a walkable location is great. City Hall's right across the street. or for meetings with the partners over there. Lunch options are certainly a lot better than where we were before. As Mauricio said, our location, especially being kind of high up on the tower, the views out to kind of the amenities that the city has to offer. We have a great framed view right over for Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. So seeing what's happening over there. Looking to the west, we have Amway Center with a big billboard that's advertising what shows are coming to town, what's coming next. And you can see all the sports stadiums right next to it, looking right down the road. So it's been very exciting, especially being in a new office space as well. It's renewed energy, and it's been tremendous so far.
Awesome. It's great. And, the story of a city of Orlando is an aspiration when we sell what's next a lot. So Scott, how do you sell investors on the next building, that you'll deliver hopefully in less than 2 years?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it really is, you have to understand, when we did this building, we were anticipating that CNL3, which we all know, if we remember, was proposed outside the Performing Arts Center on the park. And the interesting thing was we thought that was way ahead of us, much like I talked about before, that we thought CNL1 was ahead of us when we were doing Lincoln Plaza years ago. So our thesis here was we didn't plan on being a Lone Ranger. It was we were going to be second fiddle to Amway Center and it going up. So we were trying to snug up close to Amway Center and their Staples Center idea across the street. So that's great. Let's get up as close to them as we can because they're going to be the sports and entertainment mixed use, destination. So we've got the corner. Our idea was to control as much of the land that we needed to make the statement we wanted to make. But the selling of investors on why Orlando, because there better be something other than one office building going on in Orlando, was Amway Center, Performing Arts. We were trying to be second, but close to them, but at the same time be in the middle, in the center of the two barbells, which were the nighttime entertainment and the destination, Amway Center, Performing Arts. We're right in the middle. So we become that destination, dropping off for entertainment at night, weekends, with the train, with parking, with everything. That's easy access coming right off the interstate as the gateway corner. So it became easy for us to sell. We need to be a 24-hour city. We need to have, we need to have residences downtown. We need to have a vibrant, much like Tom was talking about it. And we need people on the street, feet on the street. So we need projects like this that put that on the street. And that's easy. That's easier to sell. This fact that Orlando is, when people come here, when we get them here, they like the downtown. It's walkable, it's sizable, they can understand it. It's not complex. So it's easy to understand. You can make a quick decision. Then it's how deep are you? What happens if a COVID happens? Are you deep enough to withstand that?
Talk about building the building for people that are outside of the building, not just inside.
Whether you're traveling northbound or coming in from east to west, the building's quite prominent. So it gives you that sort of gateway reference that Scott was talking about earlier.
Mauricio mentioned the vehicular aspect coming from all directions. You see the very prominent building. But from a pedestrian standpoint, there's a front door on every side of this building. You walk along Garland Street, design a glass facade that kind of illuminates the lobby, retail spaces on either side, and that lobby permeates straight through the building and connects all the way through to the Sunrail station. Sunrail station is another front door. People arriving by train, that's the first greeting point for the building as well. And then the pedestrian traffic that occurs along South Street. So to make it as pedestrian friendly and attractive as possible in that ground floor plane was a careful consideration.
As much as this is a story of achievement, it's a story of connectivity and what's next. Scott, if you talk a little bit about what's next for Lincoln, because this is only a phase of a much larger project.
Yeah, well, and I think that the success of this project needs to continue the wave throughout the rest of the project. So we control the quality, we control the experience that we can snug up to. So it's only going to be a launching pad for us to be able to do the next building and then what is you can't have two buildings sitting there and not have a crown jewel of service to continue and make sure that you now have the network and the knitting of those uses together. So that's the reason for us to control the retail, was to control an experience so that you have 200,000 square feet of office here, you have another 200 potential in the next tower. That's 400,000 square feet of people that need to find some place to eat at lunch and dinner and breakfast and everything else. So the crown jewel on Church Street is that we want to take Bob Snow's original vision for the buildings, but now bring it to today in a food hall type of concept, restaurant experience type of concept that brings a wide variety of ideas and food and experience to a wide variety of people. To lead us in the next 10 to 15 years. And hopefully now that will allow Amway Center to leverage on us versus us trying to leverage on them early on, to allow them to point to and say, we can do this now because there's something else to back up financially and say, there's another example, here's an example. So it's easier for them to develop. Because we do want other developments, and because that's the success of everybody.
All right, well, this building is obviously the culmination of a great partnership between Lincoln and Hunt and Brady. But if you all would like to take a minute to thank any other individuals from your organizations or partners that helped this project come to fruition, this is the time to do it.
First of all, I'd like to thank Scott and Lincoln Properties for this amazing opportunity that we've had. We've been looking to do something like this for many, many years. And we're delighted to be here, all moved in, and see, as Tom was mentioning, the excitement of all of our people. In terms of the team, Steve Bellflower, Tom Winan were sort of managing the project. I was the lucky guy that got to be involved in design. But we have many consultants that we'd like to recognize.
Right, our structural engineer, Walter P. Moore, our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer, TLC Engineering. The civil engineer is GAI. There's a traffic engineer, early on did a lot of work coordinating with Department of Transportation, City of Orlando. That was HDR. And then the other partnerships, speaking of government agencies, the City of Orlando was great to work with through the whole process, from the very early stages all the way through permitting. All the way through construction, even with coordination with the FAA, even for height restrictions and kind of getting that cleared, FDOT.
And last but not least, Austin Commercial. They were the lucky construction manager that was able to put this together.
It's almost too many as you start going through every moment in time as we went through what we had to get over, what hurdle we had to jump over, or a bridge we had to cross. There were the key people all along the way. I mean, you can start all the way back to Thomas Chapman and Brooke at the city, and like Tom was saying, and had they not stuck with us, it's a lot of faith they had in us that we could pull this off, and that's huge. I mean, the city helped us with traffic and transportation when we had to negotiate with Sunrail and then CSX and all the municipalities there, and coordinating this because it was the best thing for the city. So once the city got on board, and it didn't take them long, that they said that there's a lot of value to be had here. They were all in a city like this, as somebody that's going to help you champion projects like this and get them off the ground. And if you don't have that, and you don't have somebody that's going to help you navigate the city waters and municipalities and help you with the other municipalities, state level, if you need to go there in CSX level and everything else, we couldn't have gone through it. There's no way. It was tough enough even with them. It was tough enough.
Well, I think now more than ever, we need a reminder of what's possible. And this building certainly, this tower certainly is a very visible reminder of what happens when a group of people are dedicated to a concept and dedicated to partnerships. So thank you for that. And congratulations on the Golden Brick Award of Excellence.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.